We are continuing my journey in Pokemon Violet today to complete my first ever shiny Nuzlocke. This is episode 2 of this challenge, and I have my eyes set on conquering the next obstacles in our way, so stick around because trust me, you don't want to miss how I encountered some of my shiny Pokemon today. In this playthrough, I must catch a shiny Pokemon before progressing to each story event in the game while also making sure my shiny teammates don't lose all 3 of their lives. We have 3 sparkly members on our team so far: Blue the Psyduck, Apollo the Staravia, and Shelly the Dreadnought. Each one so far was full odds and found very quickly with only taking minutes of hunting. I really couldn't have asked for better luck. However, my team could have asked for a better trainer. So far, we have made 2 silly mistakes during the run. Blue and Apollo both fainted due to my incompetence during some battles, but these mistakes taught me some lessons for battles moving forward. You have the Cliff Notes versions of everything, but make sure to watch the first episode if you haven't yet before watching this. I have many more shiny encounters, gym battles, titans, and Team Star bases to complete, but we have one problem. I already broke one of my rules. Among some of the staple rules that are tied with a Nuzlocke, one of my rules was to capture a shiny Pokemon before each new event in the game. I realized after completing my first video, I went into the Team Star base with only 3 Pokemon, but it was my 4th event in the game. To make it up to all of you, I'm going to make sure my shiny team and events are all evened out by the end of this video. As I mentioned a little bit ago, my team so far has all been full odds encounters, so we're starting the day by shiny hunting with an outbreak. For those who don't know, a full odds encounter for a shiny is 1 out of 4,096, while the best odds during an outbreak is 1 out of 1,365. That means this shiny should go fast, right? As we progress further into the game, my Pokedex is getting filled out more and more with each wild encounter, trainer battle, and gym battle we do. Normally this would be a good thing, but for me, it's the worst. I have a rule where I cannot get shinies from outbreaks that have been discovered due to a Pokedex entry. That means I can only search in outbreaks with question marks on the map. As I am still relatively early in the game, I'm lucky enough to have many undiscovered Pokemon still. We headed out to the first mystery outbreak I saw. I arrived and saw an abnormal amount of Mischievous floating around, but for whatever reason, I never got the notification that I arrived. What is it? After lurking and eliminating the ones that were around me, I assumed this had to be the outbreak. I knocked out 60 and began resetting. After about a half hour, I made a terrible realization. The ghastly outbreak I had in the previous episode was special due to it spawning on top of some ruins. This means that even during the day, ghost Pokemon will still spawn due to spawning in or around the ruins location. Unfortunately, with my current outbreak, I wasn't as lucky. Uh-oh. The sun rose and shattered any hopes or patience I had for a shiny Mischievous. I saved the game and waited for another chance at an outbreak. The following day, I was lucky enough to have another outbreak that I could reach on foot, but it was back towards one of the earlier locations of the game. I was confused because I had thought I had every early game dex entry just from knocking out wild Pokemon while training and was curious as to what it could be. I arrived and to my surprise, it was a Swablu outbreak. Ooh. I haven't knocked out a Swablu yet? I knocked out 60 and began resetting. I managed to hop up on top of a hill and had a better view to see all the spawns appearing in the outbreak. After 26 minutes of resetting, my outbreak luck kicked in. Yes! Is that it? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Yeah! Look at the little guy. I love all of my shinies so far, but shiny Swablu has always been one of my favorites. I named him Tamago and began training. Unfortunately, his typing isn't the best and won't help much going into the electric gym with being part flying. I still needed to find the right Pokemon that would help me with Iono's battle because right now, I have 4 Pokemon who are weak to electric. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, both Tamago and I would really appreciate a like and sub. Maybe this good shiny luck has all come from the good energy of the YouTube community supporting me. Tamago and I thank you for the support. I had trained up Tamago some more with some trainer battles and wild Pokemon before heading up to the Sky Titan. Okay, I know this is my 5th event and I only have 4 Pokemon, but I promise this is the last time I break my rule. Moving forward, we will have shinies before each event. We dodged the boulders the big bird threw at us before encountering it. Shelly defeated it with 1 hit before we caught up with Arvin and learned about his injured puppy. We shared a meal with Miraidon, which taught it how to swim. We tested the waters a bit before brainstorming what the next hunt would be. I battled more trainers before making it to the gates of the Dark-type Team Star base, then decided it was time to properly match the number of Pokemon on my team to the number of events I've done. We were heading into our 6th event, which means we needed 2 more shiny Pokemon. I began wandering around and searching in many areas, but couldn't decide who I wanted. I had to make sure I got a member who would be strong enough against an electric-type gym leader since my whole team now could barely hold on their own. Even when battling trainers who had a single electric Pokemon, I felt like I was struggling a bit. I started searching in the desert in hopes of some ground-type Pokemon appearing. After a while, I decided to go elsewhere. I went back to an area I missed in the southern portion of the map and noticed some potential candidates like Toxel. Toxel wouldn't really be the strongest against Iono, but not the weakest either. The next day, I hopped on ready to hunt Toxel and noticed another outbreak around me that remained a mystery and again got me thinking who I hadn't ran into while out training. I arrived and to my surprise, it was a Dunsparce outbreak. I kinda want one. For those who don't know, Dunsparce is one of my favorite Pokemon and we have a bit of history in this generation of games. I was lucky enough to get a shiny 3-segmented one during my time in Pokemon Scarlet, and ever since then, I've loved Dunsparce even more. Even though it was just a normal type, the idea of having a shiny version of it on my team for the rest of my game made me excited. I put myself in the mindset that I'd be here for a while and began my 60 knockouts. This outbreak was similar to the Swablu outbreak in the sense that some would spawn on a higher hill as well as the lower part. I didn't mind this, but it did make it a little difficult to hunt. After just under a half hour of searching, shiny Dunsparce appeared. Yes! I'm so stoked. Shiny Dunsparce was mine. I think my full odds luck was transferred from episode 1 to this episode as outbreak luck because not only were my last 2 shinies in outbreaks, but both appeared nearly 30 minutes into hunting. I swear this good luck is going to catch up to me. There's just no way this will last. Either way, I'm gonna soak it in now. I named our Dunsparce Banana, and for once we didn't get a terrible nature either. It was lonely natured, which boosted its attack but unfortunately lowered its defense. I began training it by knocking out the remaining Dunsparce from the outbreak, then had a moment of realization. Dunsparce could solve my electric type gym problem. Even though it was normal type, Banana had access to a ton of ground type moves which are super effective against electric. By adding Banana to the team, I had finally evened out my events with my number of shinies, but this means I needed to get one more shiny before heading to my next challenge. I headed back to where I was hunting Toxel and there's a shiny Deerling. I guess my full odds luck wasn't done yet. I'd like you all to meet Yordi the Deerling. On the night I got this, I received a comment on part 1 of this challenge suggesting I named my shinies after members in the community. Since the idea came to me after the first video was out, it was a little too late for that. I replied saying I'd name my next shiny after the person who suggested the idea, and only a few minutes later, I ran into a shiny Deerling. While the shiny itself isn't the greatest, I was happy to have a grass Pokemon on my team, and not only that, have a grass Terra type, a perfect addition for some gyms down the road. This Deerling marks our 4th full odds shiny on the team, but so far, I've spent less than 30 minutes getting all of my full odds encounters. Talk about broken shiny luck. 2 minutes on our Psyduck, 10 minutes for Starly, 10 minutes for Trudel, and 3 minutes for Deerling. Let's hope we can keep this energy moving forward. This is your first look at my full team of 6 Pokemon. The team and I were ready to head towards the next Team Starbase. It was the next day, and before I wanted to challenge the base, I quickly checked my outbreaks for the day. Even though I couldn't hunt yet, I wanted to know what we had in store for the day. I had an outbreak right on top of my head from where I saved, and as I arrived, I learned it was a Corvisquire outbreak. I'll be back for you later, shiny bird. We arrived at Team Star's base with 2 grunts guarding the gate. Shelly took them head on and made quick work of the Murkrow they had. I walked in with the original shiny trio and knocked out 30 Pokemon before meeting the leader of the base. He only had a single Pawniard we had to get through before battling his giant car. Shelly again carried the team by knocking out the Sedge and Starmobile. Good job, Shelly. Afterwards, we caught up with Penny yet again, who was suspiciously interested in what we were doing with Team Star before deciding everyone on the team deserved a nice break. We had a group picnic where I gave everybody some baths before sharing a strange sandwich with everyone. Don't worry, it didn't increase encounter odds or anything. From there, we headed out to the desert below for some trainer battles and shiny hunting. I knew we had the Corvisquire outbreak as a backup plan, but I wanted to have one last shot at a decent ground Pokemon to help Banana out at the electric gym. After hours of no full odd shinies, I decided it was time to try the Corvisquire outbreak. I did the usual 60 plus knockouts and started searching. I was lucky to have the outbreak right next to a city so I could enter to reset all spawns. I was hunting for an hour, and then 2 hours, then 3 hours. Man, this is taking some time. I reached the 4-hour mark and was getting worried I wouldn't get it. The end of the day was approaching, and when that happened, my outbreaks would reset. About 4.5 hours in, it happened. Oh my gosh, finally. Medley the Corvisquire has joined the team. While it was still a pretty low level, it wasn't going to be helpful now, but it will eventually be a very strong steel type that will hopefully be handy for future battles. With our 7th shiny on the team, we were ready to head to the scariest challenge yet, the electric gym. The time to battle Iono was here. I had prepped the best I could under these circumstances and had a pretty solid plan going into it. Before we fought, I had to successfully complete the gym test. For this test, I had to locate the school's director 3 times while battling some Iono-obsessed Pokemaniacs in between the searches. They were good practice before the real deal and gave me some confidence before battling Iono. I completed the test and got the okay to challenge the gym leader. Iono started with a flying and electric type Wattrel. I led with Shelly, who knew rock moves, and she was able to outspeed the Wattrel with a rock tomb. Next up was Iono's most recognizable friend, Bellibolt. This frog was a little tanky and had me worried Banana couldn't keep up. After the first hit from Banana, Bellibolt lived and unfortunately dealt back an attack that paralyzed him. Not good considering I had 2 more Pokemon left for Banana to handle. He luckily fought through being paralyzed and took out the Bellibolt. My plan was working. Up next was Luxio. Banana was weak and paralyzed, so I decided to swap back out to Shelly. After Shelly defeated the Luxio, Iono brought out her strongest and last Pokemon, Mismagius, a ghost type who she then terastallized into an electric type. I had healed Banana up and was ready to spam Drill Run until I won, but I forgot. Mismagius has Levitate. This means that none of my ground type moves would work. Even worse, every time Mismagius attacked me, it powered up its special attack. I debated swapping back out to Shelly, but knew Shelly had low special defense. I decided to use Ancient Power to see if I could get the small chance to power up all of my stats, but even after landing 2, it didn't work. Mismagius was too strong at this point to survive the heal off. He's gonna die here. I knew Shelly had a strong speed stat and made the decision to let Banana receive his first death. That's 1. Not good. I swapped out to Shelly, who outsped the Mismagius and won us the Electric Gym Badge. While the other feints I've had in part 1 were a little more of an oopsie, this one felt really bad. I had planned out for the Levitate ability being on Wattrel, but forgot about the final Pokemon on Iono's team. To make it up to Banana, I wanted to see if I was lucky enough to get the rare 3-segment evolution. If you didn't know, all Dunsparce have a 1 out of 100 chance of evolving into a special 3-segmented form instead of the standard 2-segment form, but you don't know until it evolves. I trained up Banana until it had the move Hyper Drill, which it needed to evolve. After he learned the move, I watched and hoped. What's up, everyone? I hope you enjoyed part 2 of this Shiny Lock journey. I really don't like when one of my Pokemon loses a life, so I hope I can learn more in part 3. Thank you all for the support in this series so far. I received some awesome fan art of the shiny trio we found in the first episode and wanted to share it with you all. Feel free to tag me in any of your art on Twitter or share it in our Discord. I'm looking forward to all the shinies and challenges in part 3, so leave a like to give me some shiny luck. I'll see you in the next episode.